Today we're going to talk a little bit about my journey on how I got started being a content creator or influencer, whatever you want to call it. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. And if you guys are new here, I was able to manifest living in LA and doing my dream job of being a content creator out here full-time. So I got some questions on Instagram and I figured now would be a good time to kind of go over these things, give you guys a little story on how I got started, and I also want to give you guys some tips that I have kind of learned along the way, doing this for about 3 years now. I'm not going to start from the beginning because remember, everyone's journey starts way before people actually think. Years and years and years go into success stories. Don't forget that. That leads me to my first tip. Don't compare yourself to others online. Everything online looks like an overnight success when in fact it is not. My journey started in 2019. I quit my job to do makeup full time, but keep in mind I had already been posting on Instagram long before 2019, so I have been doing this for a really long time. So I would be doing makeup on other people in 2019, and then in 2020 we all know what happened. If we remember, it's crazy now, 3 years ago, the pandemic hit, so we were told to shelter in place, stay home. And by that time I had already been 1 year into my business, and I actually learned a lot of things about myself. Come 2020, we had to stay at home and I had to pivot my entire business. I didn't know when I would be able to do makeup again. I didn't know if I was gonna do it again anymore. So I continued, I should say, to make content and posting it on Instagram. So my journey actually started on Instagram. Even before 2019, I did post on YouTube. I don't even know if you can go back into my archives that far enough, but I have been doing YouTube on and off for a really long time. I've given up on it so many times, but this is the year that I persevere. I continued to post content on Instagram even during the pandemic because that's all I was able to do. So it really pushed me in that direction, as well as a lot of other people. I think a lot of other people got to explore their hobbies, their passions during that time, and unfortunately I feel like a lot of people weren't able to upkeep their hobbies and stuff because, you know, the world started opening up again and people went back to work because that's all that people knew. But I had already quit my job, so I was already in the mindset of, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be my own boss. I'm gonna continue on this journey. I started TikTok May 2021, and TikTok has changed so much since then. Since I've been on Instagram and TikTok, they both have changed drastically, which leads me to tip number 2. If you plan on doing this as a career, you have to keep up with the times, with the algorithm. Things change all the time and you have to consistently change and upgrade and update with them. Don't think that you're going to be able to do the same thing forever. You're always going to have to adapt and pivot and make it work with the way things are working at the time. So 2020, I was still making content. I wasn't working with any brands, but I was still just doing makeup content. Makeup is probably my best skill that I have, and I just did what I knew how to do, which was do my makeup. I was hell-bent on actually making this work because during the transition from being a professional makeup artist to being like doing content, because I was able to because of the pandemic and quarantine and all that, I realized how much I enjoyed doing content versus doing makeup on other people. I just felt like that was more labor intensive and I really enjoyed making content. I had always wanted to do it. I grew up in the era of like Desi Perkins and all of them. So it was something that was in the back of my mind that I wanted to do, but I decided to pursue being a makeup artist first. That's what led me into being a content creator because I kind of had no other choice. That was my skill. and I turned it into a new skill, which was making content. So by the end of 2020, I started posting more on Instagram, and I think the end of 2020 is when I started to get more PR and more brands were starting to notice me. And then in 2021 is when I started TikTok, and all I knew at the time was I love makeup. That's what I know how to do. So I just hopped on there and went with the damn thing. So really, I mean, in simple terms, I just went on there and did it. But obviously times have changed, you know, growth is so different on TikTok. The algorithm and just how people operate on the app is so different. So I did grow pretty quickly on TikTok starting in 2021. I kind of just hit the very end of it when growth was much easier on TikTok. But you know, we have changed, we've transitioned many times on TikTok now, and I'm still seeing growth. I'm so grateful for the growth that I have. It's been slow and steady, and the same thing is true for Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube for me. So, you know, not all growth is quick growth. Not everyone is gonna be, again, an overnight success. It's just not the way it works. For most people, you're not gonna be an overnight viral star. There's gonna be so much more that goes into it. Even if you do get one viral video, there's so much that goes behind. One, getting the viral video. It is just luck sometimes. And two, how to respond and continue after the viral video, because a lot does change after that. It's really gonna mess with your head when you get a viral video. I'm telling you right now, something that not a lot of people talk about, but it does mess with your head getting a viral video. So that is just like the quick story of how I got started, and some things that I do want to note that could help you in just getting started. At the end of the day, you're not going to get better if you don't try. And everyone starts from the bottom. You just have to put yourself out there, and you just have to try over and over and over again. And not just try, but when you're trying, make sure you're also reviewing everything and seeing what works. Tip I will give you about starting is set yourself up to be consistent. You're gonna have to have discipline. You cannot only post when motivation hits. That will be your biggest downfall if you just post when you're motivated, and when you're not feeling good, you're not posting. Because during the early stages, that's when you're growing, that's when no one knows who you are. So if you continuously take a break, you continue to push yourself back to the beginning every single time. You're gonna have to be able to push through and just keep going. Even if it's not perfect, you're just gonna have to build a momentum of continuous output just to get yourself in the mindset of creating and posting consistently, because that is what it's going to take in the beginning to grow. First mindset shift I had in the beginning of being a content creator was giving myself a schedule. Like, I'm gonna post this day on Instagram, on TikTok, on whatever, and I would stick to it. Even if the content wasn't perfect, I would stick to that schedule just to build that habit, that routine for myself. And that is one of the best things you can do. I see so many people start and stop, start and stop. If you're at the beginning stages, it's always gonna push you back to level 0. And I know people have the biggest problem with that. So, you know, it's gonna take some discipline and a promise to yourself that you're going to stick with it and be consistent. I know this is just such a common dream job for so many people, and I see why. It's such a cool way to really express yourself as a person, share yourself with the world, and share your purpose with the world. I want to leave on the note of purpose is you have to figure out why you want to do this and what it is that you truly want to share with the world. And it's not your niche, it's not your skill. It's like, what is the world going to gain from you? What are you going to teach this world? How are you going to contribute? And purpose is going to just take you so much farther, because it is going to get tough. It's an uphill battle at times. There's definitely lots of highs and lows in this job, lots of learning moments, lots of frustration when you're first starting. It's really a journey of personal development. So I hope I left you guys with some information, and I would love to answer you guys' questions, because I promised myself once I figured things out, I would share with whoever wanted to listen. So don't forget to like this video and leave a comment. It would really help me out. And I will see you guys next time.